I'm Ronnie Chan. I'm the co-chair of the Asia Society together with Henrietta. And it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce the honoree of our Global Leadership Award, David Bonderman. There's a Chinese saying that if two people are in the same industry, they're automatically enemies. So David, you're the ultimate recommendation from Steve, who is in the same industry, and yet he has the highest regard for you. So what am I doing here for? Well, they said that if I don't do a good job, they're going to kick me out from the board, so I have no choice. So ladies and gentlemen, for my sake, please bear with me. Many of us know David for many, many years. We know that he's a superstar in the private equity business. Founded TPG, a man who has helped restore the financial health of banks across Asia. I don't think that too many people can claim that they have owned and run successfully banks in Korea, mainland China, Taiwan, Thailand, Indonesia, and God knows where else. And you have surely blazed a trail of early investments in Vietnam, Indonesia, and many other places. But beyond his business, David Bonderman has had a profound impact in Asia. Many of you probably don't know that in the 1970s, David traveled all over Asia as a young man, including to many parts of Tibet. He's not many years older than I am. It was only in the 90s, with the help of the Asia Society, that I made my first trip to Tibet. But 20 years before that, David, you were already there. I was assured by his former colleagues from Asia that David lives and operates on Asian times. That means if Dr. Shan, who is here in the audience, would be negotiating a deal for TPG at 2 p.m. Hong Kong time or Shanghai time, wherever, and it is 2 a.m. in New York here, call David, no big deal, he'll be as fresh as anything. I was also told that he answers emails no more than 24 hours, and even Joe Blow writes him, he will answer, but don't try it, please. Just now, Steve mentioned that you fly more than anybody else. I spend about 60% of my time on the road. The only difference, David, is that I don't have a private jet, you do. I have a friend who has a Mercedes who, after touring 50,000 miles, Mercedes took it back and put it in the museum as a model. I was told that, David, you do it with airplanes. Whatever airplane it was, it must be good. Whatever it is, I think we have a man here who is not only highly successful in business, but he's also tremendously dedicated to protecting wildlife, promoting community welfare, and indeed preserving culture. Most recently, his generosity and interest have taken another direction via something called the Bondermobile. This is not James Bond's thing. By the way, James Bond's mobile is in the Hong Kong Center of the Asia Society. Part of our center is the former MI6 headquarters in Hong Kong. And I tell people that I kept the real Bondermobile there. David, if you're nice to me there, I'll show it to you. If you're really nice to me, I'll let you drive it. But anyway, the Bondermobile is something that is amazing. It is actually a tiger-striped van that travels to remote Indian communities promoting dialogue about wildlife, particularly the contentious relationship between man and tiger, as well as helping to address the deep-rooted issues of corruption, airing grievances between the villages and the forest department. And now in its third year of operation, the Bondermobile has visited 168 villages and something like 23,500 people. David Bonderman also understands that to help the world, one must know the world. And so in 1995, a long time ago, he set out to help young students do just that by creating the Bonderman Travel Fellowship. The rule of this fellowship, you must travel the world for 8 months, visit at least 2 regions of the world and 6 countries. No coursework or academics, just curiosity and intelligence. I was hoping that I would qualify until I read the last word, intelligence. Has provided these young people a great gift. We thank him for all that he has done for them and for many others. And we're delighted to honor him this evening with the Asia Society's Global Leadership Award. What you don't know, however, is that after Harvard Law, David went to the Middle East and studied Arabic law, and he speaks the language. So he's going to address us in Arabic. That notwithstanding, ladies and gentlemen, welcome David Bonderman.
Thank you, Ronnie. As I'm sure you all know, that was a paid commercial advertisement. Well, it's an honor to be here tonight. I'm not quite sure why the Society decided to honor me, but it's a pleasure. I particularly enjoyed the Bonderman Fellowship pictures, which I had not seen before, so you guys are better at research than I am. I'd like to start just by thanking a few people. My sometime partner, Richard Blum, Dianne Feinstein's husband, he and I started Newbridge Capital together in 1993 as the first Western major firm in the private equity business in China. I'd like to thank Shenwei Jen, who's been our partner for many of those years, who is here tonight from Hong Kong, and Clive Bode, our tax counsel, who knows more about Chinese law than anyone should have to. So we got into the commercial business in Asia in 1993-94 when my partner Jim Coulter and I founded TPG, Texas Pacific Group as it was known then, and we started something called Newbridge Capital together with Dick Blum because we thought our business, which was then largely confined, private equity, was largely confined to the United States, a little bit in Europe. We thought the business would become global quite rapidly. And so after we started the firm in 1993 and 1994, we opened up our first office outside of the United States in Shanghai. And I still remember that office, which was run by our partner, W.K. Zhang. It's the only office we've ever had that had a shower and a bathtub. That's about all it had because it was in some rundown hotel, which is all you could do for offices in those days. And I remember our very first deal was a company called North Dragon in English. I can't remember the Chinese name, but it was a manufacturer of pig iron located in Shenyang in northern China. And then it turned out that they wanted to pay us in pig iron. Fresh off that experience, we made an investment in a company called Weiwei, which made powdered soy milk. It was conveniently located a 13-hour overnight train ride from Beijing in a train compartment with no heat in the wintertime. We learned a lot about that. We knew that we had to watch carefully. This was China in those days. We knew that it was possible that people could be less than straightforward with the numbers. So we got to appoint the CFO. It turned out that, unfortunately, the CFO had no idea where the chop was, no idea where the bank account was, and ultimately no idea where the money was. So we learned a few things. But rather than me talking about these experiences, I want to suggest those of you who are interested in China in the freewheeling days, read a book by a guy named Tim Clissold called Mr. China. It's out in paperback if you can find it. And it tells about what life was for those of us who were in the private equity business early on in China. And I can assure you, the hotels, the trains are better today. I'd like to just thank one more person who's here tonight, is Dino Jalal, who's currently the Indonesian ambassador to the United States, but in his earlier incarnation was very helpful to us as we became the first major private equity firm to begin to invest in Indonesia some years ago. Dino, thank you as well.